My name is Kiki. I'm from Women Against Rape. This is Nina, who is from the Global Women's Strike. We are based at the same women's centre in Kentish Town in Camden. Okay. Rape has been in the headlines recently with the Savile scandal, the Rockdale scandal, and the torture that's been described by the people who were in the Welsh care homes. Almost a third of women raped in the UK don't tell anyone what happened to them, because they are worried about being disbelieved or attacked again. This is, of course, worse if the rapist is a person in authority or a police officer. Survivors are treated as plebs and don't get justice. One of Savile's victims from a care home said, "That's what we were for." The police don't do their job of investigating. The conviction rate for rape is 6.5%. For domestic violence, it's 5%. Women Against Rape has been campaigning for justice since 1976, when a judge gave a suspended sentence to a rapist who was a Queen's Guardsman because he didn't want to harm his army career. William Hague has launched an initiative to tackle war zone rapes. But when Parliament voted to invade Iraq, we wrote, with our sister organisation, Black Women's Rape Action Project, to every woman MP about the rape and murder of women and children that would result from the occupation. We had no response. And when women flee from rape in war zones and dictatorships and seek asylum in Britain, they are refused. We have worked with thousands of rape survivors seeking asylum and or raped in Britain, and the struggle for protection and justice is an uphill battle for both. 70% of all women in immigration detention in the UK are rape survivors. Many are mothers. Usually, they don't get a fair hearing. Lawyers can be lazy and uncaring and not do what they should for their clients. The Home Office flouts their own guidelines, detaining rape survivors and survivors of other torture against their guidelines, and judges can be biased. For example, currently we are campaigning with a woman who's in detention. She was raped by soldiers in Uganda, fled here for protection, but was too traumatized to speak about everything that had happened to her and that she had been raped when she was first interviewed by immigration officials. Her lawyers didn't gather all the evidence that they should have. Her asylum claim was refused. At the moment, the case is in the High Court, and in spite of that, the Home Office is not disputing that she is a survivor of rape by soldiers, i.e. a victim of torture. They are keeping her in detention. And we have an article here about her case from the New Statesman, if people are interested. We are also working on a case which is in the European Court at the moment. A woman who was raped by rebel soldiers came to the UK for protection and spent quite a few years here, but was then deported in spite of a big campaign to stop it. We have kept in touch with her for the 4 years since she was deported. She has been living on the street, she's been destitute, and she was raped again by a man who she thought would help her and had a baby as a result, who she's now raising. She too was too traumatized to tell us everything that was happening to her at the time. 2 women who we worked with managed to come back to the UK after being deported, tortured again, and they managed to come back and they won their asylum claim with our help, and one of them got compensation. There is no monitoring of what happens to the women, children and men who the UK government deports. We have stopped many deportations by last-minute interventions, by jacking up lawyers and forcing them to do their job, involving MPs who, when put under pressure, can do good work for individuals. And we have been supporting women in detention when they have gone on hunger strike to protest against their conditions. 1 in 3 of women in prison are rape survivors. The Howard League said that the UK government may be imprisoning more rape survivors than rapists. This includes women who are put in prison for so-called false allegations, who have suffered rape, but where the police decided not to investigate. For example, we've been working with Laila Ibrahim, who was raped by strangers and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. I'm from Sweden, and it's just as hard to get justice for rape survivors in Sweden as it is in the UK. The conviction rate for rape is just as low. Women are murdered by their partners because the police have done nothing to protect them. Massive welfare cuts make women, children, and everyone vulnerable to rape and other violence. There's a lot of racism, and the situation for women seeking asylum in Sweden is no better than it is here. People are sent back to the situations that they fled. When Julian Assange was arrested in December 2010, we wrote to The Guardian about the unusual zeal with which he was being pursued. We don't believe that Assange is being pursued because of the allegations against him of rape, but because of his work with WikiLeaks. We have said so again in our more recent Comment is Free article, which we have here. We have had an overwhelmingly positive response from women and rape survivors to our statements on the Assange case. We believe in justice for the accused we believe in justice for the accused and for the people reporting. Rape victims' rights to anonymity and the defendant's right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty are both crucial to a just judicial process. The women's rights in the Assange case have also been breached. We have not heard directly from the two women. Their names are all over the internet. One of the women did not sign her statement, and her friend said that she felt railroaded by the police and others. Why has this not come out? Why is Sweden refusing to interview Assange in the UK? Why are they delaying the investigation? There is nothing new about the authorities using rape for their own political purpose that has nothing to do with women's safety. Rape was used to justify lynchings in the US. The Scottsboro boys were black teenagers falsely accused of raping a white woman. Emmett Till was also a black teenager who was lynched for whistling at a white woman. Not all feminists have objected. Susan Brown Miller wrote a very famous book about rape called Against Our Will, and she was ambivalent on the lynching of Emmett Till. Another example is that Craig Murray was accused of sexual impropriety after he exposed torture in Uzbekistan. Some people compare Julian Assange to Dominic Strauss-Kahn, but Assange is a movement person, not part of the establishment. Assange is being pursued vigorously, while Dominic Strauss-Kahn, the charges were dropped. When Pinochet was in the UK and they wanted to extradite him to Spain to face justice for the rape and torture and killings that went on in Chile, the UK government allowed him to go back to Chile instead of facing justice in Spain. The anti-rape movement is part of the movement for justice. So are whistleblowers. We all need whistleblowers to expose and oppose rape and murder, which the authorities would rather we didn't know about. For example, WikiLeaks has exposed rape by UN troops in Haiti. Whether Assange is innocent or guilty, our struggle against rape is not to be used to justify rendition, torture, or the death penalty. Politicians in the US have called for Assange's assassination. 2 Egyptian men who were renditioned from Sweden to Mubarak's Egypt, allegedly on the instigation of the CIA. Bradley Manning is being tortured. We know that repressive measures do not protect any of us, women or men. Will the same zeal put into extraditing Assange go into stopping rapes like those exposed in the Savile scandal and in the Welsh care homes? We doubt it, but we are doing all we can for that to happen. We hope that you will support us in that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.